Welcome, everybody, to the third episode of the Senna Garden podcast.
Welcome.
Welcome. Do you want to recap last week?
Yeah.
Okay.
So last week we kind of talked about what you need to get started if you are interested in being in the wedding videography world or just in the videography world in general. Just the bare minimum, all you need to get started. So we talked about that, just equipment, programs, things like that. And then we kind of offered you guys a little bit of encouragement, and we talked about some fun drone stories, some experiences that we have had with drones in the past. And we showed some TikToks that we have been enjoying and some music that we've been dabbling in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really fun episode. We discussed a lot and it was kind of long. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you haven't watched it yet, you can definitely go and watch it on our YouTube channel or listen to it on Spotify or Apple. So yeah, I think we talked about in the last one, we weren't sure if we were going to be on Spotify, but we are on Spotify. We got it all set up. So
Yep.
You can tune into any of those platforms. You can find all of that in the link in our bio on Instagram at senna.garden.
Mm-hmm.
So yes,
Perfect.
Follow us.
Yeah. This week is going to be a little bit shorter.
Yeah, we are going to keep it a little bit simple this week. Rob is not feeling the greatest right now. He got his second vaccination for COVID-19.
Yeah. Yesterday. And so
yeah.
today it's kind of like...
It's kind of hit him hard. And also, to be honest with you, we stayed up till like 3 a.m. last night.
Editing.
And we don't feel great because we did that because we're too old to do that. And we need to grow up. So
Yep.
anyways, we're fine. We have honestly tried to shoot this like 3 times and we were like, maybe we just shouldn't do it this week, but we're going to be okay. We're going to push through this and it's going to be a great episode because we really do have some good content for you guys that is going to encourage you and build you up as a creative person.
For sure.
So whether you are in the wedding videography world or you're in any kind of creative field, I feel like you will really be able to get something out of this. So stay tuned. And yeah, I guess we can get into it. We can kind of talk about the general topic and then we can dive into all of our points. So go ahead.
Right. So our topic for right now is service rather than work.
Yeah. So kind of like it's a mindset thing. Are you going to have the mindset of this is my job, or are you going to have the mindset of this is an opportunity to serve people?
Yeah.
Because I think that when we first started, I don't know, I think that in our hearts we did want it to be about serving people, but I think because we were not able to put all of our focus on our business, there were a lot of times where it felt like a job and not like an opportunity to serve people, and our mindset wasn't in the right place, and our work reflected that. I do think that it immensely impacts what like the art you're producing. For sure. Your mindset has everything to do with it, and I think you have to make a conscious decision of why am I doing this for this, or am I going to do it for this? What is the reason? What is the why behind what I'm doing? Yeah, there have been many weddings that I've looked through the film and I've just been like, this is what we got that day. But then I remember that we might not have had the best outlook on the day. Definitely. You know, there are different variables that come your way, and that can be anything from what happened before you got to the wedding, what happened maybe during the wedding, the relationships that you kind of... How prepared you were. Yeah, I mean, you have to spark these relationships usually right out the gate. And let me tell you the approach that we used to have with booking weddings. And it has only been the last maybe 2 years that we've started to shift out of this. So that means we spent 4.5 years in, I would say, not the greatest mindset and doing things to not our best potential. And I think that is probably one reason why it did take us as long as it has to get to a point where we could be full-time and all of that. But we used to, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it. Our main way of communicating with people was through email. And when people would inquire, we would send them a price guide and say, if you have any questions, let me know. That was it. That is all. And I'm not trying to say there's anything wrong with that, but just know that if that's the only way that you're going to communicate with your client before wedding day, it's going to cost you. Your art will suffer from that.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hate on people that do that.
Yeah. I mean, if that's the way that you do it, that's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, and if it works for you, then it works for you.
Yeah. But I think that comes down to you're just getting it done.
Yeah.
You're just getting the job done. And it's not about relationships. And it doesn't necessarily have to be. But I guess it depends on what type of professional you want to be. And do you want this to feel like a job, or do you want it to feel like a purpose and something that's really fulfilling and brings you a lot of joy?
Yeah, but on the other side of the coin, there is a huge shift in building a relationship with the couple prior to the wedding day, just because you can get a vibe for who they are. And then they've probably already mentioned to, maybe not, but you kind of get a vibe from them. You can get a vibe of like what their friends are like, so that you can mold into, and we've talked about that before really briefly.
Adaptable.
Yeah, being adaptable and just molding your way into this friend group and being a part of it and like enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
And not just the friend group, but just being able to, when you're with the couple, like being able to communicate with them and just like be confident in your communication.
Yeah. So yeah, what I was saying was, the kind of the mindset that we had prior to the last like couple of years. And, yeah, I think it's hard to be service oriented when you can't put all of your focus on the business. I get it. When it's like a side hustle, it can feel like it's a grind, and it's just hard to like put your heart into something that you can't put your whole heart into because you're like split between different things. I get that for sure. So part of that is like, you may have to make this decision of, if my heart's really going to be in this, I might have to let something else go. I mean, we both had to do that. Mm-hmm. And not everyone's the same. Some people can juggle a lot of things. But,
yeah.
For me, my heart would never be fully in it if I didn't just take a leap of faith and go for it. So yeah, so we kind of wrote down some things that some points and some things that you need to do in order to have a mindset of serving people rather than just working for people. So the first point is preparation. And with preparation, not only does this involve understanding a timeline and having all of your equipment ready and staying organized and all of that, but it has a lot to do with your communication with the client beforehand. So rather than sending a price guide, how about you schedule a meeting over coffee or a Zoom meeting or a phone call? You'd be surprised what that can do, not only to get the booking, but also to show you, okay, do I want to work with this person? 2, is this person are we a right fit for them? Is there someone else that would be a better fit for them? And 3, like you're gonna get to know so much more about them, and it's just gonna shift your entire perspective of doing this work for them. Because you're gonna start to understand their personalities and their story and how they ended up together, and you're gonna get excited about them getting to get married. And
yeah, it'll help you, not to cut you off, but it'll help you be able to understand their vision for what they want from your service.
Definitely. some people are really like, they're super open and they're like, I trust you. I don't have anything specific. I just know that I love your work and you got this. But some people do have specific things. And here's another thing. People don't always know what they want. A lot of times they don't know what they want because they're not a professional wedding videographer. They don't know. So they just have seen other films and they're like, oh, these people are really good. Like, we are going to hire them. But there may be things like portions of their story, not only within their relationship, but their families. They could have had a family member pass away. Things that are like very sentimental and special to them that they're not even thinking of being incorporated into a film, that you can dig and find those things, and you can blow a customer's mind when you're like, hey, you told me that, your grandfather passed away and, y'all were really close. How would you feel about incorporating some old photographs or like home video of you guys? Or there's just so many things, creative things that you can come up with that really serves the couple, and in turn makes your art so special and like unique. And I don't know, we say this to couples all the time, but like we don't want our films to just be this event recap video. Mm-hmm. We want it to be a story. And when you take the chance to talk to people and truly understand their story, it changes everything. Changes your mindset and it changes your art. So
right.
Yeah. Next point. Go for it.
I think that kind of covered the next point.
Really? Oh yeah, understanding their background and story.
For sure. One thing that I want to add to that is not just specific to the couples, but also other vendors. Like being able to serve other vendors is huge.
Yeah. So one thing that we kind of wrote down was to not be intimidated by other vendors and to seek relationships with them, and find opportunities to serve them. So like, there's definitely times where we have walked into a wedding day knowing that we're working with, certain vendors and feeling like, okay, these are like these top of the line vendors and they're really well known, and feeling very intimidated. And if you think about it, it's really not logical because you're there to do a different job than them. So it's, one, it's not a competition, but two, you shouldn't feel intimidated. Like they're not trying to judge you, or I don't know, like it's weird that we feel that way. And I think it has a lot to do with social media and just the like pressures of that, like feeling like someone's famous or, just feeling like someone has more value than you do, because of how well known they are. And you definitely don't let that rule your mind when you're going into a wedding knowing you're working with certain vendors. Be super open and kind and ready to build a relationship with a vendor. And I'm trying to think of like practical ways where we've like, where you can serve vendors on wedding day. I mean, I think if a florist or a coordinator person, like a rental person, like needs help lifting something or carrying something, look for opportunities like that. And I don't want to sound like we're like, do this because then it'll like pay off because they'll like you. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this is a mindset thing. This is a way for it to bring your self-fulfillment and to like, it's the right thing to do, and it will bring you joy because you know that you're helping others. And so just look for opportunities to do that. I'm trying to think. I feel like there was a specific. Here's an actual story that I just thought of. So there was a time that we were shooting with a photographer. I don't know how long ago it was, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but she had recently had a child, and she needed to go out to her car and pump. Okay. I'm sorry if that's too personal to share, but she had to go out to her car and pump, and everyone was looking for her, and but she had to do what she had to do. And so we took pictures knowing that she was in her car. We knew she was about to miss the bouquet and garter toss. And so one of us was like, we're going to take pictures of this so that she has something, you know? So we covered her, and she didn't ask us to do that. She had no idea that that was happening. But I'm just saying when things happen on wedding day, whether it's with the bride and groom or the wedding party or the family or a vendor, and they need help and they need cover, don't just sit back and be like, wow, they're so unprofessional. I can't believe that, you know, they're not here right now. Where are they? Don't take an opportunity to just gossip with other vendors about a vendor who is having problems or is, you know, failing in some way or whatever. Have we done that? Sure. We're guilty. Like, we're humans, and it's just not right. And so I think we just wanted to take the opportunity to say, look for a chance to serve people, and just choose to believe the best in other people and do things to help them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of a tangent. I don't know why I got so passionate about that.
You were on a bit of a tangent,
but
I had time to sip on some coffee and just listen.
You mean some water?
Yeah.
And a coffee mug?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next point. This is more about the client now, the next point.
Okay, so vendors. I'm a little lost, honestly, because you went on that tangent. I feel like you covered two of the ones.
No, they hired you to be there.
Okay. Yeah, so you're there because they hired you to be there and know that they want you to do your job, you know? So don't be intimidated to share your opinion on what they need to be doing. Don't be...
The couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that there's definitely been times where we just won't speak up. And even though we feel like, oh, this would be a really good idea, this would be a great shot, I wish the couple would do this, whatever. Sometimes we just ride it out and let the photographer do all the things that they're doing. And you need to know the photographer has their own like agenda. There are things that they're trying to capture. Don't rely on them. If there are things that you want, you need to speak up and say, hey, I think this would be really good. Also, your couple can't read your mind, and they aren't wedding professionals. They don't know.
Right.
So, they hired you because they trust your expertise.
Right.
So be willing to be like, hey, I think it would look really awesome if you guys did that. Don't be afraid to do that.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time videography might be maybe viewed as something that isn't as important as photography. So when the photographer is posing, you're just maybe there to try and get the best shot that you can while they get their shot. But the reality is, like, you can take them to the side, take your time with them because you've been hired to do the job. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of worried about the time. So can we just take a small break just to make sure that we're good?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. BRB. All right, guys, we're back. We are good. Everything was still recording, so we're Gucci. So we're just going to continue on these points that we were making. So another thing that I wanted to mention was keeping your couple in mind as you edit and meet deadlines. I know that it could be really hard, you know, when there's a lot going on, and sometimes we miss deadlines and it happens. But whenever you're feeling like burnout and everything, of course you need to take care of yourself. But one thing that kind of helps me with burnout is keeping my couple in mind, keeping that service mindset, rather than, I just need to get this done. Like, I really need to meet this deadline. If I can like switch my focus to my couple's probably so excited to see their film. And I remember, like, I try to remember wedding day and how it's been working with them so far. It kind of motivates me. Like, I want to hear their reaction. I want to please them, and I want them to love their film. And, you know, if I can just be reminded of how it feels for a couple to receive their film really well and to be really happy, that motivates me to get things done and to stay productive. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the next point, which is keep communication going before and after the wedding day. So just stay in communication, whether it's through social media, like commenting on pictures, sending messages, updating them, saying like, we're working on your film, or we're about to start your film, we're so excited, whatever. Just try to stay in communication as much as you can. I think that clients really appreciate that. And yeah. So, and the last thing, and you can bounce off of this if you want, I put know when to be generous. And I think this, sometimes you just have to like listen to your heart, or like listen to the Holy Spirit when you're in a meeting with a client or you're talking to them and you feel like this is someone that has genuine good intentions and they really, really want to work with you, but they may not have the budget. This is something I want to be careful to talk about because, people will take advantage and you need to have discernment. But I think there are times when genuinely you should be generous to this person. Like, you just need to be generous to them. And it doesn't happen all the time, and you need to do it with your worth in mind. But know when to be generous. I think there are times where it's like, I feel like I need to give this person a small discount, or I feel like I need to allow this person to do a certain payment plan because it's going to be less stressful on them. Whatever it looks like, cover your bases in your contract, make sure you're good and you make sure you're meeting your own financial needs. But that's just something that I felt like it fell under the service-minded thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. That concludes that little educational lesson.
Poor Rob. I've definitely talked more this time, but I feel like you kind of needed to sit back this episode. So
yeah, for sure.
You don't feel great.
Mm-hmm.
So, I promise I'm not trying to just drown him out.
It's fine. It really is.
Okay, so little tiny music break. I'm going to share a couple songs that I have recently found on my release radar on Spotify.
I actually have a playlist that...
What?
But yeah.
Okay, go ahead, share.
So real quick, I know that I talked about... Oh, don't play that. I know I talked about liking a bunch of different genres of music last time, and I said that lo-fi was one of the big ones that I listen to. There's a playlist on Spotify, and it's called Zelda and Chill.
Oh my gosh.
What? It's lo-fi Zelda. Like, if you grew up playing Ocarina of Time or Twilight Princess or any of these Majora's Mask, even Breath of the Wild, new stuff, they have converted some of the like songs from each location into like these lo-fi beats, and it's really fun to listen to, and it'll throw you back.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's my little
cool
music.
Cool. Okay, well, I just have a few songs that were on my release radar, and I thought they were good. Rob doesn't like Juice WRLD. I like Juice WRLD. I just like him, okay? Girl of My Dreams by Juice WRLD, Suga, and BTS. Really good song. I like it.
Here's my problem. I'm not like...
It's fine, babe. We don't need your excuses.
It's just the mumbling.
And then you won't believe who this song is by. It's called Slow Dancing, the Hazel English remix by Ally and AJ.
That's a big throwback right there.
If you're from our generation, I'm sure that you used to freaking jam out to Potential Breakup song by Ally and AJ.
Honestly, I didn't. I mean, I guess just because I'm a dude, like, I didn't listen to that. The only time Ally and AJ ever popped up was on like the Disney commercial, but if it was the commercial break and then they would play.
You listen to Potential Breakup song.
No.
You're lying.
I'm not lying. I promise you. I don't even know what you're talking about. I mean, if you played it, I might like be like, oh yeah.
Okay, I'm going to play it when we're done with this, and you're going to be like, oh.
Because Disney would play those, like, the artists, music videos. They would play them in the commercial break sometimes, And I think that's the only time I've ever heard that.
Mm. This is the Potential Breakup song.
No, it does not.
Just one.
Just got demonetized right there.
So baby, please.
Copyright strike.
Sorry, that's really bad. I'm not that bad at singing. I just, whenever I'm singing in front of people, I don't try because I feel embarrassed. Like I will sound bad when I am actually trying. And so I just don't try. I just do my silly voice. So I'm embarrassed now.
No, you shouldn't be. That was great.
Okay, my other songs. I'll share a couple more. I'm Not My Season, the Solstice version by Fleet Foxes. Fleet Foxes is one of my all-time favorite artists. They're really just like folk-ish. Would they be considered folk?
Yeah, they're pretty folky to me.
I love Fleet Foxes, so that is a good one. And one more. So, Life Goes On by Oliver Tree. Obviously, that's a super popular song right now with reels and everything. But there's a remix. Well, I guess it's a remix. Hold on. It doesn't say remix. Featuring Trippie Redd and Ski Mask. The Slump God.
Wow.
I don't know. I guess it's just I don't know. It's like rappers
remix.
I don't know. I sound like an amateur right now, but I really like that song. I like the different version of Life Goes On. Like it just sounds a little different. It's got a nice little beat to it. So
check them out.
Check those songs out. They will be in the description. Okay. Now we're going to wrap this baby up with some encouragement.
Right.
So, you can start it off and then I'll bounce off of you.
Yeah. So I wrote down that being a creator can be difficult, but you can do this. All right. We watched a podcast called How to Film Weddings. Shout out to those guys. They're great. You should check out their podcast.
They're the best. John Bunn and Nick Miller have a great podcast that truly inspired us to start our own. I listen to their podcasts like all the time, doing dishes,
daily almost. Yeah, like
going on a walk, whatever it looks like, driving in the car for a long time. I love their podcast. It's taught me so much.
Yeah, there was it's not verbatim, but it was sort of a quote that they said, most wedding videographers and photographers will quit after just 3 years. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of gave me like a realization, if you can just continue to push through, and like it might have to be a grind. We've talked about the grind before, doing a job and your creative job. Like you have to keep pushing through. Mm-hmm. You can do it. Keep creating.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that I wrote down and added to that was, I wonder if the reason why people quit after 3 years is because their mindset is in that work. I need to get this done mindset, and they don't have a mindset of serving other people. I think when you serve other people, you get true fulfillment and joy, and therefore you don't get burnout as easily, and you don't want to quit. There are seasons where we're really busy and we get burnout and we're like, I don't feel like doing this today. There are days when we wake up for a wedding and we're like, we don't feel like doing this today. But if you can just truly stick to that mindset, I think it does change everything for you. So
for sure. Put all of yourself into your work and serving others. I think that just goes along with what we've been saying all this whole time.
Mm-hmm. Just put your heart into it.
Yeah. And I said, most of all, put God above everything else. So before, all the money, before all the equipment, before what your work is, you got to have God.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And so we'll kind of close it out with this scripture. It's 5 verses, so bear with me. I'm going to read it. It's Philippians 2:1-5. Is there any encouragement? Is there any encouragement from belonging to Christ? Any comfort from his love? Any fellowship together in the Spirit? Are your hearts tender and compassionate? Then make me truly happy by agreeing wholeheartedly with each other, loving one another and working together with one mind and one purpose. Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble. thinking of others as better than yourselves. Don't look out only for your own interests, but take interest in others too. You must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had. So I feel like that's just a good passage to kind of base your mindset off of.
For sure.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I just want to add that God will bless your business if you put him first.
Mm-hmm. He will.
Absolutely. So just keep that in mind. Hopefully this helps out. Told you it would be a short podcast. What we said, I hope it encourages you. What we have talked about, maybe it'll motivate you to push through, continue on, and yeah.
Yeah, this is a good one. You guys need to get pumped for next week because we're going to have a guest. So,
yes, be looking out.
Our first guest on the Senna Garden podcast, they're going to be sharing some really juicy stuff that they are experts on. So, yeah, we're really excited for that. So stay tuned every Friday, 12 p.m. Central Time. We'll see you guys next week.
See you.
Bye.